Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Revitalized Podcast. I am your host, Justyn Oliver.
I'm Elle Sherwood. We're so excited for this episode. We are just really grateful you're here, and we just really hope you appreciate it. You take notes, you listen up, because we have some really valuable knowledge here to share with you guys, some experience to share with you guys.
We got 5 critical foundational things that every one of you need to know. We do this with ourselves. We do this with every single one of our clients. This is what we do to maintain our own health, to achieve the level of health that we got. I've not been sick one time in 23 years. Elle's not been sick one time in 5 years. And none of you guys ever have to be again. So this episode is what you need to know to maintain a functional, healthy, efficient, optimal immune system that's going to keep you super healthy for a very long time. Immune system, digestive system, gut health, brain health. We talk about it all in this one. It's jam-packed.
Oh my gosh.
Nonstop. But hopefully you love it. Hopefully it was worth it.
Absolutely. Okay.
Thank you guys for watching. Enjoy the episode. Have an amazing day. Kick some ass.
Happy New Year.
Talk to you soon.
A lot of people are really suffering because they're dehydrated.
The body has 5 main systems that it uses to flush out poison, toxicity, excess waste. So if you just focus on one of them or 2 of them, then you still have problems in other areas. We're fantastic poopers. I'm just going to say it. And if you're not a fantastic pooper, you definitely got to get that figured out, because it will change your life.
It actually will.
Nobody likes being constipated.
You're not what you eat. You are what you can utilize.
But if you do not have enough proteolytic enzymes in your system, you will not digest that protein. Start with a daily walk. Go for a swim.
Yeah.
Just start doing some squats, push-ups, pull-ups, like basic exercise.
It's like train for pregnancy.
Winning the battle in your mind.
And we'll focus too much on developing in areas that we believe will make us more acceptable than areas that will make us better.
Following all these principles, following this way of life, creates a system and a lifestyle that supports your health from every possible angle. Today, we are going to teach you guys and share all the things, all the secrets, all the tricks, all the hacks that we got. Well, not literally everything, but I have to.
That would be a very long podcast episode.
But I have to build hype so that you continue to listen. Anyway, so what we're going to do, the promise of this episode, okay? We are going to teach you guys the principles, all the foundational knowledge, everything that we think that you need to know as an individual to make sure that you don't have to worry about getting sick or falling ill or just having your body deteriorate on you faster than you want it to.
All right, you guys, let's get into the basic principles that we want to cover so you guys don't have to worry too much about getting sick.
Exactly.
And especially right now when it's cold, that's a little bit important. I know that everyone gets sick around like the same time. We don't have that problem. We don't get sick. We don't get sick ever.
We don't. And and before we get into it, before we get on a tangent, I really want to make this super, super clear. Okay. This is a totally achievable thing.
Yes.
For everybody.
Yeah.
Right?
Regardless of your age, you don't have to be in your 20s.
Yeah, exactly. And please don't take this the wrong way. I'm not going to guarantee that, listen, you follow these steps and no matter what, you're never going to ever get sick again. Okay. That's not anything that I can promise anybody. Everyone's a little bit different. There's so many different factors. Everyone's got a different lifestyle, age, sex, height, weight, stress level, so many things. Okay. But what I can say is following these principles and following this way of life has proven to us, to our dozens and dozens and hundreds of clients, and just the way the body works, these things, just it's the truth. Okay. So if you follow these principles and you live this lifestyle and you stay consistent with it and you do your absolute best, you are giving yourself and your body, your life, your family, everybody, the best fighting chance that you got to not have to fall victim to something that could otherwise be avoidable.
Yeah.
Okay. So it might seem crazy. Most of you probably might not believe it. I don't know. Going over 2 decades when I'm only 24 or 25 years old without being sick is a massive thing, especially because we're not, abnormal. Oh, no, that's not true. We're definitely weird, but we don't have some weird genetic makeup. Okay. No. We don't have some extra chromosome. Our DNA is not written differently than yours. The only difference between us and most people is that we just spend every day and we make all of our choices and we base our decisions and our actions and what we do off of supporting our lives and doing things that are going to prolong our lives and support our longevity and support our health and things like that. And most people just don't do it nearly as consistently as we do, or if they are doing stuff consistently, it just doesn't work as well.
Yeah.
Just, I'm going to be totally honest. We're not different than you. We're just like everybody else. We just have a functioning immune system, a highly functioning immune system. And everybody else, all of you guys that are listening, everyone that's watching, you guys can all get there too. Okay. I'm not going to promise, like I said, that you're never going to ever get sick ever again, but you can absolutely be miles better than where you are now. If you are someone that gets sick multiple times a year, even, let alone on a regular basis, you can absolutely improve that. Like that's ridiculous. That's so avoidable. And so we're just going to show you guys what we do, what we work, what we work, how we work. And, hopefully it works for you too.
And the thing is though too, is like, it's not only just the common cold or like, the flu or like those sort of things that we don't get. But another thing to really take into consideration of why this is such a priority. You look at how the rise of chronic conditions, which are very influenced by lifestyle, of course, genetics as well, but very heavily influenced by lifestyle.
Yep.
The saying goes, genetics load the gun, but lifestyle pulls the trigger. Okay. And the thing is
That's
that,
a tweet.
it literally was a tweet actually.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh,
anyways.
Cool.
But the thing is though, is like you look back how in the 1960s, less than 2% of children had a chronic condition that would interfere with their daily activities in life. And flash forward today, there's around 8% of kids or more that have a chronic condition that interferes with their daily activities in life.
That's
and
mind-boggling.
we've seen, and these are kids. Like, it's almost understandable to most people if someone in their 50s or 60s has something going on with their body. Okay, they're getting a little bit older. It's a little bit more understandable, right? But children or children being born with chronic conditions, like that's a pretty big tell that we're doing something wrong as a society.
100%.
And like anyone, even if you don't know, even if you haven't looked yourself much into nutrition and how to live a better life, like that really supports your health and well-being, we all know that the standard Western diet isn't beneficial to our health. It's just
not even close.
It's not. It's just not beneficial. And
it's not.
It's just we've seen.
Well, like the evidence shows, like we've had a long enough test group.
Yeah.
We've seen how things have played out the last 30, 40, 50 years. Numbers are not looking good.
No.
So we need to make a change. We need to do something that will fix this problem that we're creating, do a little bit of a course correct, and get on a better path. I think.
Yeah. There's too much suffering. Like why? Like let's try to reduce those.
Life's
numbers.
hard enough as it is.
Life's already hard enough.
It does not get easier when you're sick and weak and feeble and you can't do anything.
When your health is attacked, and I've spoken to a lot of people before who have been sick. They said, "Oh, I've been through hell and back. I've been through so much, but when my health was attacked, that was what was." The hardest thing for me.
Well, it affects everything.
It affects
absolutely everything. It affects your bottom line. It affects your money. It affects your income, how you run your business, how well you are as an employee, whatever you're doing. It affects your relationships with your family.
Yeah.
It affects your ability to stay motivated and stay positive and do things. Because I can tell you right now, we talk to a lot of people that have anxiety and depression and other mental issues and things like that. And there's not one person that we've worked with that side of things, that the mental side of things has not gotten better when they're out of pain or when their gut doesn't hurt anymore or when they lost 30 pounds or when they're not concerned about some condition or some label that a professional put on them, try to make them think that they have to fit in this box of this type of person. And you have to live this certain way and you have to take this certain pill and you can't do this and you can't do that. When those restraints and all that weight just gets taken off of a person, no matter what the cause of the depression or the anxiety is, like it's not going to get worse. Okay?
It's not going to get worse.
It gets significantly better. I can tell you from personal experience. We'll do an episode on it one time, but both Elle and I got a lot of history with depression, anxiety, chronic stress, suicide, tons of stuff. Okay, and we can tell you from personal experience, there's not much out there that will do more work for you, make you feel better, make you put on a more genuine smile than to actually feel good on a day-to-day basis for the long term consistently. Like you wake up, you're rested. Yeah. Just that alone will change somebody's life.
Literally.
Okay. And especially if you're anything like us, if you're anywhere close to our age, sleep is becoming less and less of a priority. I'd say between video games and Netflix and all the other crap kids do these days, just fixing your sleep. Going from waking up feeling exhausted to waking up feeling rested is an absolute game changer. Mm-hmm.
So the first one, cellular hydration.
You need to be Hydrated. Next point.
Okay, and coffee
No,
and tea.
I'm kidding.
Coffee and tea does not do the trick. It will not hydrate you. Okay, so different foods and different liquids, they have different benefits, right? Oh, well, some don't have any benefits, but the thing though is that to get hydrated, you need water. Although there's
100%.
different things that can be beneficial with that, you know, with, vegetables and fruits that are higher in water content, or it's really because they also possess enough like additional minerals to assist with being hydrated. And the reality is, in your cells on the cellular level, for you to be hydrated, you have to have minerals. You need potassium, sodium, and magnesium. You 100%. Need those 3 nutrients in order to be hydrated. And if you don't have that, then guess what? You're missing out. So that's
you can drink 100 liters a day, but if you're deficient in electrolytes, you're going to be a very dehydrated person. And you're going to be peeing like absolute crazy. But you'll also be dehydrated at the same time.
And we're not talking about adding these nutrients to your water, like adding in like a little powder or something, mixing it up and then drinking it. Or we're talking about
if you're one of those weirdos that likes to put salt or sodium in your water because you heard that salt's super important. Yeah, salt is super important. But guess what? You're not a salt water fish.
Are you a salmon?
You're not a salmon.
Are you a salmon?
You're not salmon. You're a human. Tuna? You're a human, okay? Listen to me. You're a human, okay? Like there's lots of things that people do that are silly when it comes to water. Basically, the way that we look at it, you need to be hydrated. No matter absolute what. Chronic dehydration can be linked to basically anything you can think of. There's some way to link any kind of condition or sickness or anything that's wrong to you being dehydrated chronically over a long period of time, because water is a foundational thing that the body absolutely needs. And if you don't have enough of it, everything's going to get affected negatively. Nothing's going to work properly. Your heart won't, nothing will work the way that you need it to unless you have enough water in the body. Okay. It's a building block for your cells. It's the delivery system. Nothing moves in the body without water. It's your greatest conductor of electricity, and your body runs on electricity. All right. If you don't believe me, just somebody has a heart attack. They're not going to put anybody on a broccoli salad or going to put them on keto or put them through a super intense workout regime. Right? They're going to go clear, and they're going to zap them with a bunch of electricity, get their heart going again, right? Electricity is foundational for the body. You need it. And water, if it's got all the minerals and everything it's supposed to have, is an amazing conductor of electricity. And you need all that water to conduct all the electricity for any one of your cells to work properly at any level. Okay. Ask any physicist, ask any biologist. This stuff is this is the way that things work.
Yeah. It's just a principle of life. And another thing too is you know, what really changed for me when you guys finally got me hydrated was any cognitive issues that I had, like for instance, memory or processing information. I would be midway through a sentence with someone and then I'd be like, what? Or they would say something and then I would completely blank on what they literally said, even though I was purposely trying to pay attention and hear everything and stuff. That would happen. And so you have to keep it in account when it comes to hydration, how much the human body is built from and depends on water. So we're around 75% water, the overall.
You're supposed to be anyway.
There's
a few of you, and you know who you are.
You're
not quite 75% yet.
That, and then your blood is 90% water, and then your brain is supposed to be around 85% water. 85% water. So here's the thing. If you are super dehydrated, okay, and I've met people who go to Mexico for 2 weeks and they won't even drink a sip of water, okay? So there's a lot of people out there, or they think that,
or all they drink is Gatorade and juice, and they get all their water from food and things.
Okay, like that.
It's never gonna work.
But the problem is though, is if your brain is 85% water, right, and your body needs to continually rebuild new cells, right? Because cells die every single day, every single minute in the body, and they need to be rebuilt and everything. If your body's missing out on the hydration that it needs to rebuild those cells and to help the electricity in your brain, right? For it to function properly, then just what do you think is going to happen? You're going to have some cognitive issues come up like it did for me, because when I got hydrated, all those went away. Totally. Anything that I had, actually, it really reduced the anxiety that I had back then as well. And we've seen that with a lot of people that we worked with, with their memory or even the way they focus, how long they can focus for. Even their speech got better. Their speech actually got better when they
could articulate words better. They could put together clearer thoughts. Lots of things. Well, if you think about it, okay, let's just break this down for a second. All right. Your brain.
Yeah.
Runs on electricity.
Runs on electricity.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Okay, sure. Glucose, nutrients, whatever.
Fat.
Runs on electricity, right? All your neurons, all your synapses, all the electrical signals are electrical signals that your body sends to that your brain sends to the rest of your body, right? Runs on electricity. Okay. Your brain, like this sweet lady over here said, about 85% water, right? That's good. But if it starts to drop to 84, 83, 80%, 75% maybe, your brain's greatest conductor of its main thing, electricity, goes down. Okay? Other things that happen when your brain starts to get dehydrated. Your blood-brain barrier starts to deteriorate, gets thinner, starts to open up. Little membranes start to pop in all the time. It gets little holes in it so stuff can pass through. You can start to get heavy metals and yeast and stuff like that into your brain that goes through your blood-brain barrier that your blood-brain barrier is supposed to be there to protect you from, right? That does not happen properly when your brain's dehydrated. Water is a huge part of keeping that whole membrane together, making sure the blood-brain barrier stays integrally strong. If you get dehydrated, that starts to break down, right? You start to get chronic inflammation because your brain is starting to get less and less efficient. Has to work harder and harder and harder to get the same signal across from point A to point B because it's not as easily conducted, because the electricity is no longer there, because the water is no longer there to conduct the electricity. So what do you think is going to happen when your brain that's firing 24/7, literally never going to get a break till the day that you die, or God forbid, if anybody ends in a coma, maybe they have a few minutes here and there, that kind of thing. But your brain, ideally, going to be going 24/7 every second of every day for as long as you're alive. Never going to get a break. You take an organ like that, and then all of a sudden you bump up its workload by 10%, 20%, 30%. It's working at 150% because it's malnourished, loaded up with tons of extra toxins and things like that are poisonous to the brain. And then it's missing its main conductor of its main job. Of course, you're going to have headaches. Of course, you're not going to be able to think clearly. Of course, you're going to have memory issues. Of course, you're going to have trouble focusing, and you're going to have what doctors like to call ADHD, and you're going to have OCD, and you're going to have all these different obsessive compulsive disorders where you can't do anything for longer than 5 seconds.
It's not going to help. It's not going to help with those conditions.
It will not help whatsoever.
Yeah, it's just going to make matters worse. So the biggest thing like following these principles is like, let's try to not make things worse.
100%.
There's already enough bad.
100%.
And another thing too is like your body does a great job at, of course, keeping us alive. But if you're dehydrated, then it has to work so much harder to make sure that those vital organs, like your heart, like your brain, like your lungs, etc., are working properly. But then that means that the rest of the body isn't doing so good because it has to take other nutrients and energy, electricity, everything into just focusing on those specific organs.
Totally.
And so you're missing out on your body thriving, on your body functioning to its optimal.
100%.
Another thing,
everything's a system. If it's like this whole chain. Every organ supports something else. And if something starts to fail or fall, you get a crack or a break in the chain, everything else suffers from it. Right. So that's why we call ourselves holistic health coaches, not just health coaches, because if you really want to be healthy for the long term and maintain it and achieve the level of health that we're talking about, where you can literally walk into a room full of people that are super sick and not have to worry about it because you just know that your immune system is robust enough that you're going to have a good fighting chance at not getting nothing. You need to be consistent with it, and you need to make sure that you're looking at your health from the complete total perspective. You can't just go on a diet and never exercise. You can't just go to the gym 6 days a week and then eat nothing but Big Macs. You can't just eat a good diet and also work out all the time, but then you spend 8 hours or 9 hours a day at a job that you hate, running on cortisol and adrenaline because your employees are D-bags and your boss is a total a-hole. Like you have to look at your health as a part of your life and make sure that your life is supporting your health in as many different ways as you can, right?
Absolutely.
So hydration is super important and a big part of all that. But how do you actually get hydrated? Okay, honey, you touched on this already.
Okay, so
you can't really get hydrated properly from anything except for water. Nothing hydrates the body except for water, period. There's nothing else, okay? There's different ingredients in water like electrolytes and other minerals and things like that are important to help regulate hydration. But water is the actual ingredient that measures your level of hydration, all right? Okay, so you can definitely absorb water and moisture and things like that from cucumber and high water dense foods and things like that. But it's not trackable, okay? It's not it's not easy to detect how much water you're actually absorbing unless you're doing nothing but water. Okay. So that's why whenever working with somebody, we always put together a hydration protocol and we don't add tons of stuff to the water. There's definitely things that we'll do with as far as electrolytes and other nutrients and things like that go along with it, but we're never putting anything in water, right? All the stuff that you can absorb from your food, from your vegetables, from your fruits, things like that, that's just extra. That's great because it's going to be very hard for people to drink too much water if they're drinking good quality clean water that doesn't have a ton of problems in it, like fluoride and chlorine and pharmaceutical drugs and biosolids, and it's been killed to crap with tons of processing and other chemical treatments. Anyway, okay, so if you're good quality water, we have to assume that because otherwise nothing else really matters. Mm-hmm. But if you're drinking good stuff, it's going to be really tough to drink too much, especially if you're making sure that your electrolytes are regulated properly, your sodium, your potassium, those things are on lock. Mm-hmm. It's going to be tough to overdo it. Okay. Mm-hmm. So all the extra stuff you get from food, that's just extra. But if you want to accurately track and measure how hydrated you are or how much water your body can actually absorb or what you actually need on a day-to-day basis as far as your water requirements go, the only way to find that out is by measuring it and using just good quality water with nothing else added to it, because that's the only thing that you can accurately track your body's going to absorb 100% of it from. Okay? Hopefully that makes sense, right? Because you're eating a cucumber, tons of water, but there's also tons of nutrients in there and there's tons of other things in there. So you can't fully measure how much water is in there, that you can't measure it in ounces. You can't measure how much of that water, how much you're absorbing, how fast it's going to absorb. The only way to do it accurately and consistently is just pure water. Okay? If you want to do teas and juices and things like that, sure, go for it. But extra doesn't count towards your water. You're not drinking 3 liters of water and then 2 glasses of tea and all of a sudden you had 5 liters for the day. That's not it. You had 3 liters. The other stuff is extra, but that doesn't count.
Okay, right? So the next we could go into this so long. Actually, here's the thing.
If I get on a tangent, just interrupt me.
It's okay.
I'm used to it. I need it.
All right. So basic principles are important, but just keep in mind, you guys, that these are very big topics. So we just wanted to touch on them a little bit.
100%.
So,
because otherwise it would be a 9-hour podcast and I would honestly go the whole time.
Like, there is so much to cellular hydration that people don't actually understand. Mm-hmm. And a lot of people are really suffering because they're dehydrated. And I know that sounds like almost like, what? Like, that's so small. What, water is water. Oh, quality. No, quality matters.
Try to run a marathon without oxygen. Oxygen's so small. It's so simple. It's just the hydrogen and oxygen coming together and you breathe it. Yeah, but you need it. It's try to run a marathon without oxygen. You can't do it.
You guys, like, what?
Try to be healthy without water. You can't do it.
You can't do it. No, you need it. Water is so important. Mm-hmm. And we've seen people improve in their health drastically, you guys, just from getting hydrated. It's crazy.
Just from getting hydrated.
Mental health, their physical
pain
health,
going away.
Like
tiredness and chronic fatigue going away.
Sleep better.
Lots of different conditions that literally affect your life going away.
Improved,
tons of stuff.
So much. Like how we talked over each other there. That was really cute.
Yeah, but we made it work.
Oh, I think we did too. Yeah. Okay. All right. So number 2, natural detoxification. So let's just be very clear. There are a lot of detoxes out there. Okay. A lot of little, liver cleanse and this cleanse and that cleanse.
But kidney flush.
But the most important thing that we want to tell you guys about, okay, because a lot of people, they'll talk about, symptoms being really, really normal. Okay. A detox has to be gentle. All right. Because depending on your age and depending on what you've been exposed to, that's how much buildup of toxins you've had for decades. Yep. Decades. Okay. So that can be
the world's
a
polluted place.
It is.
The world's super gross.
That's why our bodies every single day detox for us. They naturally detox.
Yep.
But the biggest problem is, right, when there's too much bioaccumulation in the body and then there's buildup. And and then these toxins get condensed in our body, and the body has to actually store all these toxins inside of us. And the body does a great job at keeping us safe and keeping these toxins away from our vital organs and that sort of thing. Mm-hmm. But if you go into a deep detox or do something without professional help, you could get quite sick.
Or out of order,
or
too fast, too quick, or
like
you forget something and you don't look at the whole picture, because you totally nailed it on the head. Lots of people do lots of different cleanses, lots of different detoxes. You got the rose water cleanse, you can do a liver flush, you can do a kidney flush, you can do a colon cleanse,
pepper,
whatever. But when you're doing a detox the way that we're talking about it, again, you have to look at your health, your body, your life from a macro perspective. Okay. Yeah. You have 5 different elimination organs. The body has 5 main systems that it uses to flush out poison, toxicity, excess waste, all these different things that we accumulate over time. Right. Okay. And so if you just focus on one of them or 2 of them or 3 of them, then you still have problems in other areas. You need to look at the entire picture. You need to look at your colon. You need to look at your liver. You need to look at your kidneys. You need to look at your lungs. You need to look at your skin. You need to make sure that your body has every possible advantage that it can to flush out toxicity and poison faster than you're accumulating it, or fast enough so that it's not building up and becoming a massive problem. Okay. We probably live and eat and probably healthier than like a good 95, maybe 98% of population in Canada. But we're still exposed to just as much crap as everybody else. We're still exposed to just as much pollution, just as much toxicity, just as much sickness and pathogens and viruses, and just like everybody else, we leave the house, right? We're not hermits. We're not bubble people.
Yeah, no.
So we get all of it just like you guys do. The difference is we are constantly living a life that is consistently supporting our bodies to detox on a regular basis, naturally, so that everything we get exposed to just passes through our system.
Yeah.
It doesn't ever get a chance to pool up and become a problem big enough where it's going to cause some kind of health condition that we don't want, right? Okay, so our colon, working great. We're fantastic poopers. I'm just going to say it. And if you're not a fantastic pooper, you definitely got to get that figured out, because it will change your life.
It actually will.
Nobody likes being constipated. Let's just be honest. I'm not even
kidding.
Nobody likes being constipated. Being constipated sucks. Okay? So fix your constipation. You need to get your gut health right. You need to get your colon working. You need to get your elimination, your bowel transit time. All these things need to be functioning correctly, efficiently. They all need to be working together. Okay? You need to make sure that your liver isn't getting overloaded. Okay? If you got tons of liver enzyme overproduction, or you got tons of fatty liver on your system, or you're just having alcohol and all these carcinogens and things that are just wearing your liver down, tons of medication do it too. Smoking. Your liver, it's a very important part of the body. It has many functions. And if it starts to deteriorate and work too hard and starts to get damaged and starts to get hurt, it's going to affect everything. Okay. Your liver needs to be healthy. Your liver needs to be able to keep up with the load that it has to work with on a day-to-day basis, because it's another thing, kind of like your brain. It's never going to get a rest. Never, especially with the way the world is today, with all the different types of pollution and poison and toxins and things that everyone gets exposed to on a day-to-day basis. Like even cleaning your home can release something called VOCs, volatile organic compounds. Those things are known to be carcinogenic. And anything carcinogenic is a huge problem for your liver.
Like what he means is the certain cleaners that are used. So
like
a lot of
lots of chemicals in household cleaners, things like that, bleach, laundry detergent, floor cleaner, all these things, right? They all have tons of chemicals in them. All those chemicals are very toxic. They all get released into the air through off-gassing. You breathe it in, goes into your lungs, and it's a problem. It's a massive problem. Okay.
Yeah.
So things like that, there are many different types of toxicity and poison and pollution that you need to be aware of and you need to make sure. But because that's just the way the world is right now, you need to make sure that your body can handle it, because it will eventually catch up to you, no matter what. I don't care how good your genes are when you start. I don't care how well you grew up. If you are not consistently, for the long term, for the rest of your life, constantly making sure that your body can work the way it's supposed to, it's going to develop a problem some point in your life. It's a guaranteed fact. Okay. You drive a car, never do an oil change, your engine will not work for very long.
What?
It's just the way things are. Your body's not much different. Way more freaking advanced than a car, but you still need to do regular maintenance. You need to take care of it. Okay?
Our bodies are organic machines, so we just have to support them in all their functions.
100%. Yeah. So detoxification is a critically important part of this, because it is, I'm going to make this, I don't know how to make this any clearer. It is impossible to avoid toxicity and poison and pollution and numerous different things that affect your body in a negative way and are linked to lots of chronic conditions and things that you just don't want to deal with.
Yeah,
okay?
Definitely.
So the number one way that you can combat against that and make sure that those things can't hurt you is to make sure that your body and all of its elimination systems, all of its detox organs, all of its different ways that were unbelievably, amazingly designed to keep you going and to keep you protected from all this stuff are working. Because if they're not working, eventually, whether you wake up to the fact that you need them to work or the fact that you just can't avoid it anymore because your body's so run down and broken that you need help, it will eventually go wrong. So you need to get ahead of it now. You need to make sure that you're prioritizing these things and prioritize it in a way that is going to sustain it for the long term, right? You need to be consistent, but you need to be sustainable. So it's not about doing like a 90-day flush and then going back to eating a crappy diet. It's not about doing a 6-week flush or a 6-week really strict binge where you're not making much mistakes and you're feeling really good. And then all of a sudden you go all the way back to old habits. Nothing works again.
Yeah, whose idea was that?
That's
to like only do like a
idea.
5-day or something.
Oh my God.
Like a short span detox.
Ridiculous.
Like,
we're talking
had
about
a meeting.
10 years, 20 years, 30 years, 50 years of just consistent optimal function, right? It's a long-term thing. It's a lifestyle thing. It's not like a quick little weekend getaway where you go to the spa and you feel really great. We're talking about things that you can do to maintain lifelong health. Literally meaning until you no longer got life, right? For as long as your life is going to go, that's how long you're going to be healthy. Yeah. These things are going to enable you to do that. All right.
Another thing too is like if it took like 10 years for all those things to accumulate in your body, I don't think 5 days or 90 days is gonna get rid of all of it. Another thing too is like, you know, that back to the whole symptoms part, when people do detoxes, a detox has to be gentle on you. Yep. There's going to maybe be like the tiniest amount, like when you do it gently, when you do it properly, maybe a tiniest amount of symptoms, but really you want to reduce that as much as possible. So if you're having
you want to feel good. If you're not feeling good while you're doing a detox, you're doing it wrong. Plain and simple. There's always going to be things like you're mentioning, you know, maybe like a little bit of gas, a bit of bloating, maybe some fatigue.
We're talking like a tiny bit.
You're supposed to feel good. It's not supposed to be anything that affects your day-to-day life.
No,
right?
Not
so
at
like
all.
If you're in the office and you're seeing all these people come in and like, oh, I'm doing a cleanse right now. Why do you look so bad? Well, I'm doing cayenne pepper, honey water, juice fast. Bull crap. They're doing it wrong. Just gonna be honest.
It's too quick. It's too quick, you guys. It's too harsh on the body. You have to be baby steps. You gotta be gentle.
Slowly build yourself up over time.
Yeah.
Right?
So that's our biggest thing. Yes. That's our biggest thing. And one other thing is like there is an order to how you detox your different organs. So we're just going to leave it there.
We'll go more into that later.
We'll go more into that later.
You start with your gut.
Yeah.
Always, no matter what. If your gut is not functioning properly, nothing else, no other kind of detox, no other type of cleansing lifestyle is going to work nearly as well. If your gut's not on lock, if your gut's not working properly, nothing else is going to work. Your gut is the core of everything in your body, not just because it's in the center, because it supports everything else. Okay. We'll go into that more after. Okay. Here, just to give you a real practical example, right? Okay. So take a look at our client, Tonya. All right. Shout out Tonya. You are awesome. If you're listening to this,
she's
we
fantastic.
Love you. Okay. Tonya recently working with us lost about a little over 70 pounds.
Yeah.
Okay. In maybe about 8-9 months, something like that.
Watch her like correcting you while she's watching.
Yeah, probably. If I'm getting it wrong, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
it feels like we've known each other forever. Okay, forever. It's been a lifetime. You know, so I don't measure in months. I measure in years. Right. Okay. Anyway, so Tonya has lost about 70 pounds. Okay. If you had been talking to Tonya and had known her this whole time, you would never know that she's doing anything remotely close to an intensive detox because she felt amazing the whole time.
Yeah.
And if we just think about that practically for a second, how does it make sense that a human being can lose 70 pounds off their body in such a short amount of time? Because that's not a very long time at all to lose 70 pounds.
No.
All right. If you don't believe me, go find a weighted vest and a bunch of dumbbells and carry 70 pounds in your body. Go do that for 15 minutes and let me know how good you feel. All right. So how does it make sense that a woman like her can go through such a drastic transformation and feel good the whole time? Because it wasn't 70 pounds of healthy weight. It wasn't 70 pounds of muscle and good fat. It wasn't 70 pounds of her body. It was 70 pounds, maybe not quite 70, but it was a lot of accumulated toxicity and poison and unhealthy weight on her body.
You guys are going to have to, but the one thing that's really important when it comes to bioaccumulation in the body, one of the best ways that the body does to keep you safe, they keep these toxins from reaching your vital organs, is they will engulf it in fat. Okay. So that's one way, like people talk about stubborn fat or this kind of fat, all that fat that never goes away. There's a chance, I'm not saying it's definite, but there's a chance that that's really just toxins built up in your body.
Most likely.
No,
and let's not sugarcoat it. Most of the time, nobody's 300 pounds overweight because they're eating 10,000 calories more than they need to. Okay. Thermodynamics or thermodynamics and calories in, calories out. That's a law, that's undisputable, undeniable.
Yeah.
But we're talking about fat that has been altered to no longer store energy anymore, and it's storing things that are going to hurt you and harm you in a different way.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's trying to keep you safe, and the fat membrane is more tough. So that's like one of the best ways that your body's able to keep you safe. So you, in order to get rid of that fat, also. It's important to detox along with your weight loss.
Totally.
Because imagine this, like let's say a person is just trying to lose weight by just going to the gym. Okay. Good for them for going to the gym. But then what happens is if they like heat up their body and they're working out and those fat cells break and out is released the toxins, that's not going to feel very good. It's very, very important because you could really hurt yourself. Definitely. And there's 100%. People who've gotten quite hurt. Another thing to really...
It doesn't work. Yeah. It never works. Whatever weight you get off, working your ass off in the gym and burning all these calories and getting your sweat on and stuff, it never lasts unless you pair that with really good lifestyle changes. But it's not a consistent, long-term sustainable thing. I mean, how many people do we all know that have been trying to lose weight for years and they go to the gym pretty consistently, but it's not coming off. They're never doing it long enough, and there's lots of different reasons. And
then they like feel shame, or people are like, oh, well, you're not in much of a calorie deficit, or you're not pushing yourself this. Or you guys, they're gonna not feel very good when they're doing that because of these toxins.
Totally,
they're not gonna. You're not.
Exercise is a phenomenal way to detox the body and make sure that your things are moving. I mean, your lymphatic system. The only way that it circulates is through movement and activity and blood flow and getting your arms and limbs moving and doing exercise. Okay. It's critically important. But if you don't properly have your health and your body built up to handle that kind of thing, then all you're doing is you're putting this person through a super intense workout. You're getting all this blood flow, all this energy that's circulating up. It's causing all this stuff to move around, all these toxins and all this different poison to start getting separated and pulled out from all the little isolation spots and get into the bloodstream. And then the person feels like absolute total crap afterward. Yeah. No one's going to stick to that. Even if you could put them through a workout program that would work for them, and it's super healthy and it's beneficial. Most people cannot stick to something that makes them feel like shit. Just going to be honest.
Like crap.
Well.
Don't swear. Yeah.
So you need to make sure that you're doing things in order. And doing a detox is incredibly important, not just if you're a hippie or if you're somebody that cares about, having a flat belly or whatever, just overall health, overall performance, being stronger, being better in the gym. If your body is better at eliminating and preventing the accumulation of toxicity and poison in all of its different forms, you are going to be a healthier person that will live longer. If, God forbid any accidents or emergencies or anything, but you will live longer and you will be stronger. You will feel better. You'll be more energetic. You'll be a healthier person. Period. End of story. There's nothing that can argue that. That is the truth.
That's what we've seen. And that's just fact. That's just reality. Come on.
Hey guys, I don't mean to interrupt, but I just wanted to come in here and talk to y'all for a second about our online private community called Warrior Nation. Warrior Nation is a platform that we are building full of like-minded people just like you and just like me. People that are passionate about their health and their longevity. People that are passionate about success and accumulating wealth and creating a good life for themselves and their loved ones. Ultimately, people that just want to leave the world a better place than how it was when they showed up. So if that sounds like you, then listen up. Think of Warrior Nation like our own private Facebook group, except it's not on Facebook, it's not on Twitter, it's not on Instagram, it's not on any of these big platforms where we have to worry about influence and censorship and outside control from big tech or big social. It's a place where we can share with you guys the truth and the cold, hard things that you need to hear and you need to know in order to make your life better. All right. Inside of Warrior Nation, you're going to get direct access to myself and our whole coaching team, where we can help you answer your questions, give you advice, give you real practical support that'll make your life better. You're going to get access to multiple live events a week, ranging on different topics from health and nutrition and exercise and detox to harder stuff like money and life and relationships. Okay. You're going to get access to tons and tons and tons of exclusive content that you will not see anywhere else. Documentaries, articles, videos, posts, things like that will not be put anywhere outside of Warrior Nation, that are only for our community members. If this sounds like something that would help you and would make your life better, then look down into the description below, click on the link, it says Warrior Nation, and you can make an account, fill out a form, and somebody on our team is going to be happy to take a look at it and approve you or disapprove you, depending on your answers.
Third topic, the principal topic, whatever you want to call it, that we're going to go over is bioavailable nutrition. Mm-hmm. So we have to remember that you're not what you eat, you are what you can utilize.
Yep.
Okay. So there's a difference between, eating a lot of salads and then actually absorbing and your body utilizing the nutrients from that salad. Because there are people who are working hard to eat really, really well, so they can reach their goals, they can be healthier, but because of a lack of absorption, they're not feeling satiated. They're not feeling content with what they're doing, and energetic. They're not having, it's just not, there's no content.
They feel full for a little while and they're right back to being hungry.
Exactly. And so that really sucks. And it's like, okay, well, if I'm supposed to eat healthy, but these, and I want to go in a little bit of a calorie deficit, I want to have a little bit less fat, that sort of thing. I want to have, more protein and stuff. But if you're not absorbing that protein and that fat and what you're actually eating, you're going to feel a lot hungrier. And guess what people are going to go for? They're going to go for the snacks. They're going to go for more carbs, because it feels like those extra things or that food that's not so good for you will kind of stick in your stomach for a long time. It feels like you need those additional calories when that's not always the reality.
Totally. And then you have all the addictive properties of sugar and all that crazy stuff.
Yeah.
Right. Mm-hmm. But you need, and the reason why we say bioavailable nutrition and not just nutrition or functional nutrition or whole food, organic, natural based nutrition or whatever, is it's very specific and intentional. Bioavailability is just measuring how well and how much your body can absorb and actually utilize the nutrients that are in the food you're eating, right? If you're deficient in enzymes, for example, you can eat all the food that you want to. You can have 10 times more nutrient levels than you're supposed to for your daily recommended amounts because of all the food you're eating, because you're eating 10,000 calories of whole food, plant-based, red meat, whatever you want to. Okay? If you are deficient in enzymes, you are not going to be able to utilize or benefit from that food hardly at all, because the enzymes are not there to break down that food and transform it into something your body can actually use. Yeah. Right? You don't just chew stuff up really good and then all of a sudden it goes down to your stomach and extra teeth in your stomach break down your food even more, and then once it gets small enough it can go into your cells.
It has different processes, obviously, but it's not going to be broken down far enough if you don't have the nutrients that you need, because your body has to use those nutrients like minerals and like enzymes, those sort of things, to properly break it down. It's not just the acid, it's not just the bile, it's not just your teeth, it's not just all these things that break it down. It's
everything coming together to create a digestive system. So when we're talking about your digestion, when we're talking about nutrition, we're using bioavailable because that measures how easily things can be absorbed and utilized. Okay. And when you're talking about nutrition, the most important thing you need to look at is what the food is doing inside your body and how much it can do inside your body. Okay. So going back to the enzyme thing, if you're deficient in enzymes, you could be eating the cleanest, purest protein on the planet. But if you do not have enough proteolytic enzymes in your system or in your food because of denaturing or high heat, or because you've been depleted from stress or smoking or anything else, you will not digest that protein hardly at all. You can eat 50 grams of it and maybe actually utilize a small amount of it and still be deficient in protein and B12 and folic acid and iron and all these things that you need to get from your food that you really heavily depend on enzymes to properly get the use out of, because the enzymes are what's there to break it down into a utilizable, bioavailable form. Okay, so a lot of people, when they're doing a diet plan or they're thinking about nutrition, they maybe think about calories and macros. And if they're really good, they'll think about some micronutrients and making sure that you're getting enough of vitamins and minerals and different phytochemicals and things like that that are important for the body, right? That's amazing. But they just stop there. And they might think about, quality over quantity and start getting into more natural whole food ingredients and start thinking about where the calories are coming from and all those sorts of stuff. And that's great. But if it just stops there and you don't focus on and prioritizing improving your digestion, improving the quality of the food, picking more of bioavailable sources, things that are naturally easier for your specific system to break down and digest. Everyone's a little bit different. Some people got different blood types, different enzyme deficiencies, different other nutrient deficiencies, extra access to different sources of types of food in whatever area they're in. Different parts of the world got different stuff, different cities and markets got different things. Not everybody is going to have access to all the same ingredients. So what works for you is what's going to work. That's what I'm talking about, not like a specific fad diet that you have to follow that's the best for everybody on the planet, because there's no such thing. Anyone that tries to tell you that there is lying. But you need to prioritize the concept of bioavailability and make sure that your digestion is on lock, that you're not just eating good food, but you're also supporting your digestive system and doing work to improve your digestive system so you can get more out of the food you're eating, that you're picking cleaner, better, more bioavailable, higher quality foods to eat so that naturally you're getting more nutrients out of it, you're getting better nutrients for you out of it. That sort of thing. You need to make sure that you're not killing all your food and denaturing it to the point where it's no longer in a bioavailable form. Lots of different nutrients, enzymes and bacteria and protein even, and fat and different carbs that you get from food are heat sensitive. So if you're cooking it way too long or using way too high heat, you're going to denature the food, even if it's amazing to start out with. It's not going to absorb properly in the body. Other deficiencies can be linked to digestive issues. If you're deficient in magnesium, you're not going to do a very good job of absorbing other minerals from your food or from your supplementation or things like that. Okay, so just when you're looking into nutrition, when you're looking into these things, when you're asking questions to nutritionists and experts and you're doing searches on Google and you're trying to figure out what you need to do for yourself, if you're not working with anybody that's proficient already in bioavailability and understands it and how it works in your body, you need to be thinking about it, because if you're not, then there's tons of room to improve in your diet, and making sure that you're actually utilizing the food you're consuming is ridiculously important for long-term health, and making sure that we're just eliminating the massive problem that is malnutrition. Okay, mal meaning up, down, left, right, just wrong, right? So not just that you're super skinny and you don't have any muscle on your body. You could be 30, 40 pounds overweight and be malnourished. Okay. But malnutrition can be linked to an unbelievably high number of different things in the body that you don't want to deal with. So bioavailable nutrition is a very, very easy way and a clear-cut, proven. There's nothing better that you can focus on for your nutrition to make sure that you're eliminating as much malnutrition and malnutrition-related problems as possible for the long haul, for the long period of time, for the rest of your life. All right? Anything else you want to add?
Basically just like, the way you prepare your food is really,
and make it taste good. Make it taste good.
It's really important. Okay.
You need to do that.
Being healthy, you can still be super satiated and content with what you're eating. Even if you're like having a little bit of a calorie deficit or less fat, less this, whatever. How you prepare your food is really crucial to how available it is once you put it into your body. So it depends on two things, right? The way the food is processed, and then the state of your body, and its own ability to absorb nutrients. So you have to look at both things. And local, wild, organic, natural, all these things are better. But basically our rule of thumb when it comes to food is to the less processing, the better. So that means like less heat, less oil, spices, no, go wild. But the less processing, the more close to its natural form.
You mean
better.
Go wild with spices, like
Go wild
have
with
as much
spices
as you want to.
Yeah.
Okay.
What did I say?
You said, no, go wild.
Oh.
I don't know if everyone's going to get that.
Anyways, okay. But
go wild with the spices.
Go wild with the spices.
Spices are great.
Spice
we love
it up.
spices.
Spice of life, man.
Yeah.
Become the spice of life. Become the spice king in your family, or queen in your family. Just do it. Go for it. Reach for the stars. We believe in you. Yep. Okay. So the next topic would be
functional exercise.
Functional training.
Functional training, functional exercise. Potato, tomato. Anyways, your body built for movement.
Yes.
You need it.
Super important.
Built for physical stimulus. You need exercise. You need to be moving regularly. You need to be making sure that your muscles and your connective tissue, that your skeleton, your all your bones have proper physical stimulus in order to be healthy. Plain and simple. Okay. And I'm not talking about just you have to train 3 days a week. You have to train 6 days a week. You have to go to the gym. You have to lift heavy weight. You have to lift light weight. You have to go high volume. You have to go low rep. You have to train for bodybuilding. You have to train for powerlifting. You have to train for athleticism. You have to be a functional fitness guy. No, I don't care how you train. I don't care what you're doing. As long as you're doing something, that's better than nothing. Okay. Like, for example, some of the fittest people that I know in the world, they don't ever work out ever. All they do is just physical labor. They work on a farm. They go for a walk every day. They're just constantly moving, constantly doing things that stimulate and trigger growth and development and maintain strength in the muscle. Okay, and you need that. You need to have a healthy amount of muscle mass on your frame, not just because it looks good, but because it makes you significantly healthier for a much longer period of time. Okay, muscle is an organ like your skin, right? It's super beneficial for your metabolism, super beneficial for your immune system. It's super beneficial for just your overall well-being because you look better and you feel better and you're stronger, and those are not bad things at all. Like if there's a very, very great, cool confidence and feeling that comes from just being physically strong and knowing that you can pick something up if you have to, or you can handle your business if somebody starts to talk some smack and threatening your family, or you can fall off out of a tree, or you can get run over, not by a car. You can get hit and run over by some big linebacker or something like that, and you're going to be okay because your body can take it because you're strong. Internally, externally, inside, outside. You need to be a strong person. And like what we talked about before, okay, it's not just about aesthetics and strength and muscle and things like that. Yeah. You need to move in general. Okay. Just take a look at your lymphatic system, for example, right? Your lymph nodes, very important part of your immune system, which doesn't really have much to do with the gym, except for the fact you need to have a good immune system if you want to go to the gym, because if you're sick, you can't really train very hard. Anyways, your lymphatic system, your lymph nodes, very critically important. Okay. There's a bunch of lymph fluid in all those lymph nodes going through your lymphatic system, but there's nothing to circulate it except for movement. There's no second heart that's attached to your lymphatic system that causes all that fluid to move. Like your heart beats all your blood and to circulate your body. You need to have that lymphatic system, that lymph fluid moving from movement, from your arms and your limbs going buck wild and crazy and almost smacking your co-host / fiance / best friend in the face, right? You need to move because the second you stop moving, the second is that all that fluid stops circulating, stops getting replaced with new stuff, stops sending toxicity that's collecting along the way to different elimination organs. And the more it can pool up and the more you can get inflammation of the lymph nodes, you can get swollen tonsils and all these kinds of things. You need to move for many, many, many different reasons. Like I was saying, it doesn't matter if you do bodybuilding, powerlifting, if you train for football, you train because you want to look good on the beach. As long as what you're doing is smart, it's working towards you achieving your individual goals, and it's safe. You're not doing something stupid that's going to wear out your shoulders in 6 months. You'll never be able to train ever again. Okay, you need to obviously be training for longevity. You need to be training functionally, not that you have to do any of these crazy functional wacky movements that you see guys do on Instagram, but functional as in like you need to be able to bend over, pick something up off the ground. You need to have a certain level of cardiovascular health so you can go in the backyard and play with your dog or your grandkids for longer than 5 minutes without having some weird heart palpitations, that's cause for concern. Okay, you need to be functional in the sense that you need to be strong enough, you need to be fit enough, you need to be mobile, you need to be flexible enough to just live normal everyday life and be able to safely do whatever activities you want to do. Okay, if you want to go surfing, you need to be strong enough to surf. If you want to just sit on the couch and watch Netflix, you need to be able to be strong enough to get back up off the couch. Otherwise, you're never going to move, right? Like you need to be functional for you, and that's different for everybody, I guess. But there's certain basic things. You need to be able to squat. You need to be able to pick stuff up off the ground. You need to be able to run for longer than 30 seconds without, developing myocarditis. Like you need to be able to live. And training is amazing for so many different reasons. I could literally talk about exercise and working out for 4 hours straight. But bottom line, you need to move. Having lots of muscle on your frame, not like you're a bodybuilder, but just a lot more muscle than most people normally do. Because most people are, scrawny. They don't really have much muscle on their body. They don't have a good, healthy ratio of fat to lean muscle mass on their frame. And if you can put more of it on, then you're going to be better for it. That sort of thing. Okay.
And oh my gosh, it helps so much with mental health.
Oh my, dude.
Honestly though, exercise is the most underutilized antidepressant.
100,000 freaking percent.
Like your anxiety goes down and your depression goes down, like all that. Like it's so healing. It is so healing.
Yep.
You can grow your brain. You can encourage yourself. You can get more energy. And then you start believing in yourself so much more. Oh, hey, I did that. Oh, hey, I reached another goal. Another goal. Yep. You're building discipline.
And it becomes really fun. Like when you get good at it and when you're strong enough to do things, it gets really, really fun. Like I can have a good time if I'm going out and shoveling snow for an hour.
Oh yeah,
but just because my body can handle it, it's not like it's killing me. I'm not in constant pain the whole time. That wouldn't be fun. But I like to do stuff with my hands. I'm a guy. I like to work. And because my body can take it, my back's strong enough, my core's strong enough. Unless it definitely wears you out after a while. But you can do it and you can feel good from doing it, not like you're killing yourself. So life becomes better.
Absolutely. And it's so important, like for women to obviously to exercise, but another thing to take into account, if you're someone who is wanting to have kids one day, building a stronger back, a stronger core is going to be so beneficial to you. Important. Remember, you're going to have like this big belly in front of you that's going to definitely put some strain on your back and on your core. So if you can like really become strong, it's like train for pregnancy. I'm not even kidding. Train for pregnancy, so you don't hurt yourself when you have a kid. So you don't damage yourself.
That's a huge discussion.
Another time for sure.
But yeah. You need to train. You need to move. Doesn't really matter what you do. Resistance training, awesome. Athletic, super intense, explosive training, awesome. Cardio training, awesome. Going for a walk, awesome. Swimming, awesome. Picking up super heavy dumbbells, awesome. Just do
farm work, awesome. All of it is great. Just
do
move.
Something that is going to, like I said, move you towards your unique goals. Not everybody wants to go on a bodybuilding stage, but if you do, train to be a bodybuilder. Don't eat like most bodybuilders because that's going to be something that's not going to help you live long, or put other things in your body that a lot of bodybuilders do. But just train for something that is going to move you towards where you want to be, help you grow and develop into what you want to be. That's safe. That's going to be something you can do for a long, long time. Okay. And then something that's going to support and suit your lifestyle. Not everybody has the ability or the option to go to the gym and train for 45 minutes or an hour. Some people literally only got 10, 15 minutes. So something like an at-home intense calisthenics workout or HIIT training or, some stuff that you have with basic equipment with some dumbbells and kettlebells and resistance bands and maybe a squat rack and a pull-up bar. You can get a really amazing workout in with very, very minimal equipment in 10 or 15 minutes, and you can feel like you worked out for an hour. So it just depends on what you need and what you have access to and what you want. But no matter what, you need to train, whether you care about aesthetics or fitness or anything at all. You need it just you will live longer. You will freaking live longer. It's just it. You'll live longer.
It's so important because like this is all these things like how like the health and fitness industry and society, like they've made everything about becoming healthier and practicing all these good habits and stuff about the aesthetics. Totally. When in reality, it's like it's so you can
that's such a small part of it
properly.
Such a small part of it.
That's just an encouraging.
It's
factor.
super important.
Yeah,
but it's really in the grand scheme of things, it does not really matter that much.
Organs,
as long as you look. Health. You don't have to look like a Greek god to be happy with the way you look in the mirror.
No.
Okay. You don't have to have a visible six pack in any possible lighting year round, right? It's super healthy to be able to, especially if you're a guy, to have some kind of visible abs, and I highly recommend it because it's pretty cool. But you don't have to be sub 10% body fat to be happy with yourself. You don't have to be 215 pounds of nothing but pure burly muscle to be happy with yourself. You just need to be strong enough to do things. You need to look good. You need to look healthy. I mean, dad bod or fit bod, doesn't really matter which side you're on. You need to look healthy, and it's not that hard to look healthy.
Health is attractive.
It's huge.
It just
totally.
is, and like just taking care of yourself, that's very attractive.
And the discipline that you'll build from doing it consistently, the growth that you'll develop, the better you'll learn yourself, and you'll get to see who you are as a person when those last few reps come up and they're just burning to high heaven. If you haven't done it before, start. And if you haven't done it consistently, start. And if you don't know what to do, just do something. Start with a daily walk. Go for a swim.
Yeah.
Just start doing some squats, push-ups, pull-ups, like basic exercise. Go outside and climb a tree. It doesn't matter what you do, but just
is crucial,
do something. Yeah, form's super important.
The way the form of climbing a tree, is very crucial. There's
Totally.
a certain art to it that you need to pay attention to. But like just
climbing trees are underrated. I'm going to say it now.
Honestly, so much. For some reason, people just stop doing it when they get older. I don't know why. But the next one would be personal development.
Yes.
And so that's super. That's obviously
AKA winning the battle in your mind.
Absolutely.
These 6 to 8 inches, depending on how big you are as a person, you need to win up there if you want to win anywhere else in life. Plain and simple. And
one thing with like that we'll see in our society, like how like this they say comparison is the thief of joy. And one thing I also like to say is how we're all in a class of our own when it comes to how we think of ourselves, how pretty we are, how big we are, how small we are, like all these things that are desirable in life. A lot of those things obviously can be distractions from us actually becoming better people. And we'll focus too much on developing in areas that we believe will make us more acceptable than areas that will make us better, will help us to accept other people 100%. More, will help us to improve in our lives. And this is like probably this is the number one area that everyone needs to focus on is their own personal development and increasing their character. And one thing I want to say to to men, obviously a huge part in our society of how men will deem their worth is based on how large they are. Whether that's height or other areas or muscle mass or anything like that. But one thing I want to say,
bank account, money,
bank
success.
account, etc. Like so much of that, obviously those things do come into play. That is just reality. The same as with women, how pretty we are, how maybe like young we are, like how all these different areas that
I'm good. You're on your own on
like
this one.
all these different areas that maybe a significant other or our status and like all those things, they are a reality. Okay. They do come into play. That is just the way our society is set up. Okay. But one thing I will say though, is with men, you will always be the man with the highest character. It will always be the largest one in the room. Okay. It doesn't matter if you're 4'6" or if you're 6'4". If you, the man with the highest level of character, with the most honor, the most integrity, okay, will always be the biggest one in the room. Every single time.
Every time.
And with women, the one with the highest character will always be the most beautiful in the room. Because the thing is like, you know, there is such a deeper amount of respect and beauty and all these things that we all desire that comes with a higher character. The higher character that you have, the more people will have an admiration and a respect for you. The more they'll want to be around you, the more that they'll
the more they'll hate you and never want to talk to you ever again.
Never talk to you again. But those
either way, you'll be super polarizing and the assholes will run and the good people will stay.
And then,
that's what you want.
Yeah, the more your standards are, the higher your standards are for yourself, the more people will kind of see that and be like, oh, I either want to be on the same wavelength with this person with really high personal standards, or I'm going to walk away because I'm going to choose to, you know, not have high standards for myself. I'm going to choose to not be selfless and have honor and have integrity.
Or they could just be an ass. You know, if you want to simplify it.
Okay. But just our point is that you will always be the more developed you can be as a person, the more happier you're going to be and the better relationships you're going to have, obviously. Totally. Right? So
and the more you'll be able to get done, the more productive you'll be, the more you can accomplish in life, the more fulfilled you'll be, the better everything else will be. Yeah. So personal development is ridiculously important when it comes to your physiological health.
Yes, it affects you so much, obviously.
So much. Yeah, I mean, just much. Stress kills people. There's no question. There's no way to argue that. Stress is something that kills many people every single year.
It's very connected to disease.
It kills millions of people all over the world, right? So if you can be a more developed person, if you can have a stronger mindset, if you can be a person that's better at staying in the wavelength and the vibe of gratitude and just choosing happiness and relentlessly just choosing to be a glass half full kind of person, right? You will literally be healthier. You will literally be longer. You will literally live longer, excuse me. There are so many people that we've worked with and that we've seen and that we've known and that we've talked to, and all of you guys have too, that literally they're just super happy. They're bubbly. They're a really laughy person. They're constantly happy all the time. Those people universally are way healthier than the people that are cynical and depressed and angry and stressed out and they're a downer. They never smile with real heart or passion behind their eyes. Okay.
Yeah.
You can take somebody that's super happy and genuinely positive and just a genuinely happy person. Like if you're faking it, that doesn't count. You're just a depressed ninja. But if you're a genuinely happy person, you can eat a pretty crappy diet. You can not move regularly at all. You can live and do lots of things that won't literally support your health, but you will be healthier than a lot of people just because of how healthy you are mentally, emotionally, spiritually. All these things come into play and they have a massive role on literally your physical body, how well your different systems work, how well your immune system can function, how well your gut health works, how your brain functions, all these different things that can literally be affected instantly from how you're feeling and what you're thinking and what you're choosing to allow in your mind and come out of your mouth and to just sit and ooze in your body. Okay.
Yeah. As a man thinketh he is, hey?
100%. Like just take a look at your gut, for example. Okay. If you're stressed out and you're running on cortisol, adrenaline and stress hormones, things like that, your gut shuts down. So you can be eating the cleanest meal in the world, but if you're doing it super stressed out and angry and chronically depressed and you're just bawling your eyes out while you're eating that food, it's not going to do anything for you, but eventually become a toxin because you won't be able to properly break down the food. Your gut won't be able to utilize it. It's going to turn into a poison in the body because of the environment that's in your body at the time of when you're eating it. And you know, it's just not going to work out. Okay. So you need to develop yourself as a human. You need to win the battle in your mind. And a big part of this, it's just going to come down from the education and the understanding and just knowing all these things about your health. That's a huge part of personal development, you know, because if somebody just tells you what to do, when to do it, but they never tell you why or with who or where, or they don't give you any context, you're not going to stick to it very long. Like, you know, there's a very select group of people that are disciplined enough to just do something on blind faith forever without ever understanding what they're doing. Okay. So if, you know, we're working with somebody and we're putting a diet plan together, we heavily focus on the education behind their diet, not just the calories and macros and micros and what's going in the body, but why. and when and how and all these things. So that way they understand it. And then inevitably when we're done working together and they graduate and they pass on, and they're not an active client at the time, they know what to do because they've been taught nutrition, not just given a diet plan. Yeah. And you need that. You need to understand why you're doing all these things that you're doing, why you're working out, why you're training, why you're drinking so much water, why you're
not
detoxing.
Just aesthetics.
You not just what to do, but you need to actually understand it. So it can become a part of your life, because if it's not a part of your life, you won't do it long term. And if you're not going to do it long term, who gives a crap? Because if you're healthy for 6 months and then all of a sudden the next 24 years are nothing but pain and misery and suffering because your health slipped away, that was an awesome 6 months, but it doesn't really matter. You know what I'm saying? Am I making sense?
Yeah, of course you're making sense.
Okay. So yeah, personal development is massive. It's gargantuan. And you need to be a strong-willed, mentally disciplined person that knows what the heck they're talking about. And you just, you have that inner confidence because you're just a good human being who does the right thing, right? You need that. You absolutely need it.
We all need it.
Everybody needs it.
It's really important and so much of personal development that we all come realize is so much of just quieting up here. Totally. And quieting the out ego, of your head. Like getting out of your head, being in your gut, paying attention to your gut, just kind of being
following
present,
following
your instincts,
yes,
not just your thoughts, because of course we have to remember that, all the things in our head or all the feelings in our heart aren't always aligned with reality or truth. And just because we feel something doesn't mean that's reality, doesn't mean that's true. So the principle that Justyn and I follow always is, or do our best to follow always, is always seek the truth. Always seek the truth. Always. Because if you don't, then you're going to be led down a wrong road. You're going to allow yourself to be tricked, right? By your own feelings, your own thoughts.
Ignorance is not bliss.
Ignorance is not bliss.
Ignorance is you getting your ass mauled by a big ass bear because he looks cute and nobody told you that he can kill you with the swipe of his ginormous paw and 12-inch claws. That's ignorance. Okay?
They are really cute though.
You need to know the truth.
They're really cute, though.
They're super cute, but they're murderous. Just ask Joe Rogan.
They're capable. I mean, if you go attack a bear, a bear's going to defend itself, okay?
Have you ever seen The Revenant? All right. Look what it did to Leo, okay? Those things are brutal.
Anyway.
They're awesome,
but they're
cool. Brutal.
Yeah. Ignorance is not bliss, and so much of it has to do with giving up your own idea of what is reality or what is true. And there's no my truth or his truth or her truth. There's just what is true.
Yep.
What is true? Because that's the only way we're going to ever be able to get along, is if we all we figure out what's actually true, and then we swallow our pride, we swallow our ego, we get over our dang selves, and apologize.
It's either true or it's not.
It's either
plain
true or
and
it's
simple.
not. There's no my truth, her truth,
there's no
his
gray
truth.
area.
No, it's just what's true and what's not true.
Yep.
So you figure that out, you do the best that you can, and then you go off of that. That's the only thing to do.
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
Just always seek truth. Okay, you guys. Well, thank you so much for paying attention to this, listening to us ramble on about these different principles.
Hopefully it was worth it.
And that you guys look into it more, you pay attention to more, you're more mindful of these different things that are just so, so crucial. And we're going to go over these different topics more in later episodes.
A lot more in depth.
There's so
this was
much
just like a bird's eye view. Just anyone listening, you're passionate about your health, or you're concerned because of some condition going on, or you just kind of wanted to check us out and know what we're about. This is, when you put all these things together, it creates a lifestyle and a system that supports health universally for everybody. It's nothing that any of these principles and rules and laws will do for your body will make anything worse. That's not how I should say it. How should I say it?
Sorry, Drew.
Following all these principles, following this way of life and doing all these things together creates a system and a lifestyle that supports your health from every possible angle.
Yeah.
Okay? There's so much more that you can do, and this is just barely scratching the surface. But if you can focus on being hydrated, if you can focus on making sure that you're detoxifying your body consistently, regularly, naturally, and then all your elimination organs are working properly, if you can support your system with the right nutrients and with a healthy diet that you can stick to long term, that's actually going to support your life and support your digestion, and make sure that you're eating foods you can actually get benefit from, not just because it looks good on paper, right? If you can regularly exercise and just systematically make sure that your body is strong and developed and constantly growing and constantly maintaining and gaining lean muscle mass if you have to, and making sure that your system is just strong from a physical, mechanical standpoint. And if you can make sure that you are constantly fighting and winning the battle in your mind, not ever letting your mind take control of your body and use it as a weapon against you to make your life worse or crappier, but actually utilizing it as a tool, as an incredibly powerful tool that can make your life something amazing and make everything that you ever possibly want to happen, because it's all possible. It's all there. It's all real. And when you do all these things, you will be following the system and the rules and what we do for ourselves, for our own family, and things that we do with literally every single client we've ever worked with, whether you're talking about weight loss, weight gain, putting on muscle coming off, not muscle coming off, fat coming off, constipation, chronic conditions. You have something that's terminal, genetic, I don't care what it is. Supporting your health will make all those things better. And this is exactly what we've done and what we do and what we will continue to do to achieve the amazing, amazing, amazing results and stories that we have for the people that we work with. This is why
we believe these principles are a huge priority for every single person who wants to be healthy. And there's many more principles that we wanted to go over. We ran out of time, but that's okay. And
as we do.
But yeah. But there's so much to learn. There's so much to learn about health. There's so much to learn about the body.
And we're going to keep learning, all of us, you guys listening, us too, for the rest of our lives. The body is unbelievably, ridiculously cool.
So cool.
And there's so much to know about it. Okay. So we're going to keep learning. You're going to keep learning. We're going to keep being here to teach you guys more stuff. And you're going to keep being here to prove that what we say is the truth and that it works, because you'll do it and you'll see that it works. And you guys will prove and show the world how awesome the body is and how awesome being healthy is.
And how awesome you guys are.
Yeah, because you're the ones that are going to be doing all the work, right? We're just sitting here in a comfy chair with a fancy mic, looking at the camera, talking. You guys are the one that's actually doing the work, okay? Yeah. So thank you for being here. Thank you for listening to us. Hopefully it was worth your time. Hopefully you guys get something out of this.
Yeah.
If you do, please comment down below somewhere, whether you're watching this on YouTube or on Spotify or wherever you're watching or listening. Comment down below and let us know if any of these things do help you or have helped you or will help you. If you have any questions, reach out, either us or somebody on our team. We'll be happy to get back with you. And yeah, no matter what, have a freaking amazing day.
Absolutely.
Go kick some
amazing year.
No, that didn't work. I've not been sick. Stop laughing. Don't do that either. Just normal. Normal. Thank you.
What do you mean? What's interesting about it? Like you walked out. Okay, all right. Okay.
Whose side are you on?
Okay, all right. You keep saying that, hey? I'm like, okay.
Whoa.
All right. So like we were hanging out with friends.
Not right now.
Wait, what do you mean?
Not right now.
Okay, fine. Let's get into it.
At some point.
All those, our natural detox functions in the body are working prestigiously. And another thing. I
don't know if that's a word.
Prestigious? Our prestige. Are effective, are extremely effective. I'm not sure. I don't know. Okay, that's okay. I'll just assume that I'm cute enough to get away with it.